你好，今天咱们来聊聊你给的这份关于上海七宝老街的资料，挺详细的啊。这次我们想跳出那些就是陆家嘴的高楼啊，外滩的洋房啊，去看看上海那个藏得比较深的千年古镇七宝，看看它到底特别在哪儿。为什么说千年上海看七宝？
对，这句话确实把七宝的地位点出来了。很多古镇都有历史，但七宝这个名字它本身就挺有来头的。它最早是跟那个七宝教寺有关，后来还有皇帝赐名什么的。不过更有意思的是那个民间传说，就是七件宝。
哦，七件宝。
对，飞来佛、屯来钟、金字莲花经、神树、金鸡，还有玉块、玉斧
等等。屯来钟就是自己飘过来的钟，这听着有点玄乎啊。
哈哈，没错，传说就是这样，说这口钟啊，自己顺着水飘过来，就停在这儿了，保佑一方水路平安。当然，这也不完全是传说。钟楼里那口钟是明朝永乐年间的，是个真东西，也确实是宝物。现在这些传说元素你去看，都变成老街上的一些景观小品啊、文创产品了。
哦，原来是这样，把传说融进去了。那资料里还提到七宝老街那个布局是个十字形，这个跟我们印象里就是沿河道慢慢展开的那种江南古镇好像不太一样啊。
对，这个确实比较少见。一般的古镇嘛，它可能就是一条主街或者沿着河岸发展，但七宝呢，它是南北走向的大街和东西向的蒲汇塘，在这个地方交汇了，中间就靠一座关键的桥，那个蒲汇塘桥连起来，正好形成一个十字。这个结构其实就是说它反映了七宝以前既是宗教点，后来又因为水陆交通成了个经济中心。
明白了，等于说这个格局本身就是历史留下的一个印记。不过说起七宝，我估计很多人包括我第一反应就是吃。你给的资料里美食那块写的可真不少。
哈哈，那肯定的，七宝绝对算得上是上海有名的吃货聚集地了，而且关键是东西好，价格也还行。有几样是可以说是招牌了，必吃的。一个是七宝汤圆，皮特别薄，下嘎，口味也多。那个鲜肉的，它顶上还故意捏个小尖角，让你好认，挺好玩的。
还有这种细节？对。
然后是七宝羊肉，这个一定要尝尝，处理的好，没什么膻味儿，白切或者红烧都挺地道的。再就是七宝方糕，这个糕点啊，它还是个非遗项目呢。口感就是那种松松软软，甜度也刚好。据说以前乾隆皇帝吃了都说好。
哇，连乾隆都点赞，那得试试。除了这三大样，还有别的吗？我看资料里还提了不少。
当然有啊，那个海棠糕，外面脆脆的，里面糯糯的，趁热吃最好。还有臭豆腐，虽然闻着那个味儿吧，但吃起来是真香。
哈哈，这倒是。
哦，对了，还有那个七宝老酒，之前因为电视剧《繁华》又火了一阵子，据说当年有外宾喝了，觉得很神奇，叫它魔液呢。
魔液，有点意思。听你这么说，我这肚子都叫了。不过七宝应该不只有吃的吧？资料里说的那个活着的文化，比如说皮影戏。
对，七宝是海派皮影的发源地，这个挺重要的。现在好像是每周六下午在那个皮影艺术馆还有演出，票价也不贵，能亲眼看看这门老手艺挺难得的。
每周六下午，这个信息得记一下。
还有一个地方叫溪水草堂，里面是展示上海那种斗溪水的文化，看看那些以前用的罐儿啊，各种小工具啊，也挺有意思。
哦，斗溪水这个确实很有地方特色。哎，资料里还有个点，我看着挺惊讶的，说《丁丁历险记》里那本蓝莲花跟七宝有关系。
是的，这个可能知道的人就相对少一些了。这就要提到一位雕塑大师，叫张冲仁先生，他是七宝人。当年《丁丁历险记》的作者埃尔热来中国，就是张先生给他提供了很多关于中国的素材和帮助。所以现在老街上还专门有一个张冲仁纪念馆，这算是七宝一个很独特的文化名片了。
哇， 从传说故事到特别的布局，再到这么多好吃的，还有皮影、蟋蟀，甚至丁丁。七宝这内容确实是，相当丰富啊。
那它现在就是跟现代生活的融合怎么样？感觉很多古镇要么就变得特别商业化，要么就有点像个景区，跟旁边脱离开。
七宝在这一点上，我觉得做的还算比较自然的。你去那儿能感觉到很浓的生活气息，比如说大清早有那个铺溪早茶集，当地人会去喝茶吃点心。晚上呢，河边有灯光水秀，叫水岸夜演。而且你往老街深处走走，还能看到那种老式的理发店、裁缝铺，就是那些老行当，感觉特别有人情味儿。
保留了烟火气，对。但同时呢，它旁边就是像七宝万科广场这样的大型购物中心，现代商业很发达。他们提出一个叫一周三圈的发展思路，就是以老街这个轴带动周边的现代商业圈。所以古老和现代在这里不是割裂的，而是可以说是无缝衔接的，挺有活力。
这种融合听起来确实挺难得的，就是既留住了魂，又跟上了时代。
没错，就这个意思。所以总的来说吧，七宝老街给人的体验是一种浓缩的上海。它有江南水乡的外表，里面是千年的历史文化底蕴，更有活色生香的美食非遗，还有那种实实在在的市井生活。它不是一个摆在那看的标本，它是一个还在呼吸还在生长的海派古镇，挺能体现上海那种海纳百川的精神的。
这么一说确实，这次深入了解下来，七宝老街的形象立体多了。就像你说的，它像一本内容特别丰富的书。我们今天也就是挑了些精华，快速翻了翻。那么最后留给你一个问题去琢磨一下吧。下次如果你再去七宝，除了去打卡那些大家都知道的美食景点之外，要不要试试再放慢一点脚步，留意一下那些小巷子里居民晾晒的衣服，听听某个不起眼的老店里传出来的上海话，或者就是看看河边发呆的老人，感受一下那种可能没那么精致、没那么游客化的日常细节。也许那份有点粗糙，但是特别真实的活着的状态，才是这座千年古镇它最动人的地方。
Today, we're taking you somewhere that might, really challenge how you see Shanghai.
That's right. I mean, when most people picture Shanghai, you think skyscrapers, Pudong, the Bund, maybe the financial district. But there's this much older, deeper layer to the city.
And that's exactly where we're headed. Our mission, really, is to explore Qibao Ancient Town. People call it a living fossil of old Shanghai. It's this place where you find 1,000-year-old history, busy market life, cool cultural traditions, all mixed in with a modern city.
Yeah, we'll dig into its past, how it's laid out, the amazing food, definitely the food, its cultural heritage, and how it balances old and new so well.
So by the end of this, you'll really get a feel for Shanghai's deeper spirit through Qibao. Let's jump in. Okay, so stepping into Qibao Ancient Town. Yeah, the first feeling is just, wow, this ancient charm hits you. It really is like stepping back. The architecture, mostly Ming and Qing dynasty, right? It's got that classic look.
Totally. Those white walls, the black tiles, this sort of upturned eaves. It's very distinct visually.
And what's wild is how easy it is to get to. You wouldn't expect it. It's in Minhang District, southwest Shanghai. But you just hop on Metro Line 9.
Exactly. Qibao Station is a few minutes walk away, so you can just decide, hey, let's go see an ancient town, and be there pretty quick from the city center.
A subway to a 1,000-year-old town. It's pretty cool, isn't it? And its location, where the Puitang and Hengli rivers meet. It wasn't just for looks, right? It was strategic.
Oh, absolutely. Historically super important. It made Qibao this thriving center for water transport, for trade, way back.
Right. And there's that local saying, isn't there? Something about Pudong, the Bund, and Qibao.
Yeah, it goes 10 years in Shanghai, look at Pudong. 100 years in Shanghai, look at the Bund. 1,000 years in Shanghai, look at Qibao.
That really sums it up nicely. What does that tell us about Shanghai's view of its own history, compared to, say, other cities that are modernizing so fast?
It's quite revealing, actually. Pudong, that's modern global Shanghai, super futuristic. The Bund, that captures the colonial era, the more recent past, its port city roots.
Okay.
But Qibao, that's where you find the 1,000-year-old foundations, the ancient cultural roots. You kind of need Qibao to understand the whole story, the past and present of Shanghai. The saying really shows how much they value it, how it anchors their history.
That gives you such a clear picture, like layers of time. And now the town itself, it's split by the蒲汇塘River.
Yeah.
North and South streets.
Yep. And they have different vibes. South Street is mostly food central. North Street is more crafts, culture, that sort of thing. You wander these stone paths, cross little bridges. And yeah, the smell of food is everywhere. It's very much a living Jianyan Watertown scene.
Which brings us to that idea you mentioned, the living ancient town.
Yeah.
What makes it different from some places that feel a bit like theme parks?
Right. That's key. Qibao isn't just preserved buildings. It actively preserves everyday life. You'll still see, like, old barber shops, little tailor shops just doing their thing.
Ah, so it's still a real neighborhood.
Exactly. You can feel the local life, integrate into it, not just look at it like a museum piece. That market life, that xingyan that everyday buzz, that's a huge part of its charm.
So it's not just about keeping the old buildings standing, it's about keeping a way of life going. What's the main hurdle in doing that without making it feel, I don't know, staged?
That's the tricky part, isn't it? Balancing the tourist economy with, well, people actually living there. I think Qibao manages it by really focusing on those local trades, the daily routines, making sure the town stays a home first, not just an attraction. It's about letting things evolve naturally within that historical setting.
That makes a lot of sense. It's not just a pretty backdrop, it's alive. Now, the name, Qibao, literally 7 treasures. What's the story there?
Oh, the name itself is interesting. Way back, Eastern Han Dynasty, it was called Dingjiazhuang. Then, a big moment during the 5 Dynasties period, Qibao Temple moved here.
Okay, so the temple came first.
Well, the temple relocation was key, but the town officially got the name Qibao Town in 1008 AD. Emperor Zhenzong of the Song Dynasty gave the temple the name Qibao Jiao Temple. So yeah, its identity is wrapped up in religion and an imperial nod.
That's a pretty solid origin. But the 7 treasures themselves, are they like actual objects? Legends? Yeah. What are they, and what do they tell us?
It's a really cool mix of legend, folklore, and bits of history. Each one adds a layer to the town's mystique and what it values. First up, the Flying Buddha.
Flying Buddha. Okay, I'm listening.
Legend says this big iron Buddha just miraculously appeared, flew into Qibao Temple overnight. Apparently the locals had been praying for a Buddha statue. It symbolizes, deep faith.
Wow, a flying Buddha certainly gets your attention. What's the point of a legend like that for the town?
It speaks to those deep spiritual roots, maybe the idea that divine favor brought prosperity. Then there's the gold character Lotus Sutra.
Gold characters. Sounds fancy.
Yeah. Story goes that King Qinlu's consort, back in the 5 Dynasties, spent 5 years copying this Buddhist scripture using gold powder. Super intricate. The king saw it, was impressed, but supposedly misheard the name of the temple Lukyo Yuan, 6 Treasures Temple.
Misheard it?
Yeah, supposedly heard it as Lugyo Yuan, then declared, this sutra is a treasure too. And that's maybe how it became Qibao, 7 treasures. It really highlights that royal connection to Buddhism, the patronage of arts back then.
A king possibly mishearing something and naming a town. That shows how stories just kind of evolve, right? A mix of royal power and local tales.
Exactly. How big history and little misunderstandings both shape a place's identity. Next, the Floating Bell, or Tanlaizum.
Floating Bell, what's this one?
This one's a real object, a huge 600-year-old bronze bell from the Ming Dynasty, weighs a ton. Legend says it floated down the river and magically protected boats from hitting submerged rocks or something.
Wow, and it's still there?
Yep, they ring it every lunar New Year's Eve from the Qibao Bell Tower. It symbolizes peace, good luck.
A magic safety bell they still use? Cool. What else makes up the 7?
Okay, then there's the Divine Tree. It's this ancient catalpa tree, supposedly 1,000 years old. Legend connects it to Zhu Yu, a famous general from the Three Kingdoms period. He was supposedly healed near it by a Taoist monk during a campaign. Adds that layer of historical mystique.
A healing tree with a famous general connection.
Nice. Then the Golden Rooster. Now this isn't a real bird.
Right.
It's metaphorical. Represents the spirit of get up early, work hard, get rich.
Yeah.
That industrious spirit. Story is, someone asked a wise man how to prosper, and he just pointed east towards a mound at dawn and said, look at the golden rooster. Meaning, hard work pays off.
Ah, okay. So a symbol of the town's work ethic. Makes sense.
Precisely. Then we have the jade chopsticks, again, legendary.
Magical chopsticks this time.
Supposedly, gifted by an emperor to some loyal official. Believed to ward off evil, protect the town. They were apparently placed under Jiangjia Bridge to keep protecting the place.
Under a bridge, okay.
Yeah.
And the last one?
the jade axe. This one's great, it shows that practical side. Story goes, they were building Tang Bridge, but the riverbed was too soft, the pilings wouldn't hold.
Right, construction problems.
Then this old man shows up, uses a butcher's axe in Chinese, roo, to somehow stabilize the foundation. Maybe wedged it in, who knows. But the locals, hearing Rofom, thought he said yufni, which sounds similar but means jade axe.
Ah, a pun, basically.
Exactly. So it became the legendary jade axe, symbolizing cleverness, practical solutions, folk wisdom, and wordplay rolled into one.
These are great stories. Mythical, practical, symbolic. Really paints a picture of the culture. And you can actually see reminders of these today.
You can. On Wubao Road, they've put up 7 big stone pillars representing the treasures. They even have cool light shows at night. And it inspires souvenirs too, like tangram puzzles using 7 shapes for the 7 treasures. Or postcards. Lets you take a bit of the legend home.
That's smart. Keeps the history alive and, tangible. Okay, let's shift to the town's actual layout. You mentioned many water towns are kind of linear, east-west along a river, like Zhuozhuang or Wujing. But Qibao is different.
Yeah, this is really interesting about Qibao. Its layout is quite unique. It has this main commercial street running straight north-south. And then cutting across it east-west is the Puteng River with the main Puteng Bridge right in the middle.
So it forms a cross shape.
Exactly. Shizi Sing, which is pretty rare for these Jiangnan ancient towns.
Why? How did that happen? Sounds like it developed over time, maybe for specific reasons.
It definitely did. It seems to be a mix of things. Back in the Northern Song dynasty, religion played a big part. There were temples and monasteries north and south of the river. People traveled back and forth for pilgrimages, offering incense.
Ah, so the pilgrims basically created the north-south path.
That seems to be the origin, yeah. Those routes gradually became the main streets. It's interesting how faith literally shaped the town's map.
Does that spiritual history still feel present in Qibao today, beyond just, old buildings?
I'd say it's more subtle now. Not overtly religious day to day for most, perhaps, but that respect for the past, the community feeling, maybe it stems partly from those early religious gatherings. Then later in the Ming Dynasty, things shifted. The textile industry really took off in Qibao.
Okay, so economics takes over.
Well, it adds another layer. To support all that trade, especially textiles, and make transport easier, they built the Puhuiteng Bridge right in the center. That really cemented the cross shape, making it a key hub for moving goods. So you've got both religion and economics carving out the town's form.
That's a great example of form following function over centuries. And with that layout, during the Ming and Qing times, Qibao must have been booming.
Absolutely. That was its golden age. It was a major center for trade and culture, famous for cloth, yarn, wood crafts, local wine, obviously water transport, especially cotton textiles. It was a huge distribution point. You can just picture the canals packed with boats, bustling markets. It must have been incredibly lively.
Being so old and successful, it probably faced some tough times too, maybe destruction.
It did, sadly. There was a major military conflict in the late Qing dynasty that apparently destroyed almost all the buildings on the ground.
Oh wow, almost everything.
Seems like it. But here's the amazing part. The underlying street pattern, that sort of fishbone network of lanes off the main streets, somehow survived. The basic skeleton of the town remained.
The blueprint survived even when the buildings didn't. That says a lot about its, inherent structure.
Yeah.
How often does that happen?
It's pretty remarkable, especially after such widespread destruction. That surviving pattern was the foundation they used for the big reconstruction effort, which led to the Qibao we see today, reopened around the year 2000.
Amazing resilience, and right at the center of that cross, connecting everything, is that main bridge.
The Puhuiteng Bridge, yeah. That Ming Dynasty bridge is the heart of the town. It connects north and south streets. And if you look closely, it has these carvings of AOU mythical fish, symbolizing its importance for water travel back in the day.
And probably a great spot to just stand and watch everything. The boats, the old buildings.
Definitely. Perfect vantage point. It really feels like a living painting from there.
Okay, I think we know what time it is. It's food time.
Yeah.
Always a highlight. And you really can't talk about Qibao without talking about the food. People call it a foodie paradise, right? Delicious stuff, and not too expensive either.
Oh, absolutely. Food is probably Qibao's #1 ambassador. It's a proper eat street, famous for being affordable and really authentic.
So let's start with the big one, Qibao Tang Yuan.
Yeah.
Those soup dumplings. What's the deal with them? Why are they so famous?
Okay, Qibao Tang Yuan are essential. They're known for having the super thin skin, loads of filling, and just a really smooth texture. You get 6 classic flavors: black sesame, date paste, red bean, peanut, those are the sweet ones, and then fresh meat and vegetable meat for savory.
6 types. How do you tell them apart?
Fun fact, the fresh meat ones have this little pointed top, so you know which one you're grabbing.
Huh. Little dumpling marker. Smart. And there's a cultural thing too, right? Like for festivals.
Yeah, especially around Lantern Festival, eating tangyun is all about family reunion. It adds that extra layer. Okay, next up, a real hard dish, as they say, kibao lamb.
Lamb. How do they do it?
You can get it white cut, which is plain boiled or braised. They have this special way of preparing it, so it's really tender, not gamey at all, and not greasy. The white cut lamb served with this special soy sauce and a bowl of hot lamb soup on the side. It's a local favorite, especially warming in winter.
It sounds comforting. Do they only eat it in winter?
Actually, the locals have this tradition of eating lamb and drinking shaoju, that strong Chinese liquor, pretty much year-round. It's just part of the culture there.
Lamb all year round. I like their style. Now, I heard something about a cake with a connection to an emperor.
Ah, yes. Kibao fangao, the square cake. Legend says Emperor Qianlong tried it on one of his southern tours, loved it, and supposedly called it first-grade square cake.
Wow, imperial approval. What's
Yeah.
it like?
It's sweet, really soft but not sticky. Comes in great flavors too. Osmanthus bean paste, black glutinous rice, date paste, pumpkin, black sesame. Lots of variety. And it's actually recognized as a Minhang District Intangible Cultural Heritage item.
Intangible heritage for a cake.
Because of the traditional handmade process involved, it highlights how important food is to the culture there.
That's fantastic. An emperor's favorite and cultural heritage status. Quite the cake.
Yeah.
Beyond those big names, what other snacks should people look out for? The street food scene sounds amazing.
Oh, the street food is nonstop. You absolutely have to try haitangao, these flower-shaped cakes, usually red bean paste inside. Delicious. And of course, stinky tofu.
Ah, the famous stinky tofu. Does it live up to the name?
It definitely smells unique, but trust me, it tastes amazing. Savory, crispy, often served with chili sauce. You just have to get past the smell. Then there's things like Bigger's chicken, slow cooked, super tender chicken, zaru, which is this layered pork, Qinglongjiao dumplings, dry steamed yuanzi sticky rice balls, sometimes with mugwort, and for something a bit decadent, dragon robe crab roe soup dumplings.
Dragon Road Crab Roe. Sounds luxurious.
They are super juicy, packed with flavor, really just wandering South Street. You'll find so many tasty things.
My mouth is watering just listening to this. And to wash it all down, there's local wine.
Cuba Old Wine, yep. There's the Cuba Old Wine Workshop right there, still using traditional methods. It actually got a boost in popularity recently, featured in that hit TV show Blossoms Shanghai.
Oh, cool. So it's having a moment.
It is, and the Kibao distillery itself goes way back to 1958. Their Gujiao brand Kibao Daku used to be quite popular internationally. There's even this funny story from 1972 when the Chilean Navy visited Shanghai, tried it, and supposedly called it magic liquid.
Magic liquid. That's quite an endorsement.
Right. It kind of shows that hi-pi Shanghai style thing again, open to the world, mixing local tradition with international appreciation. You can really taste the history and culture there.
Definitely. Magic liquid and 1,000-year-old snacks.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan. Okay, moving past the amazing food, though, it's hard. Qibao is also packed with living heritage. Arts, crafts. Let's talk about the shadow play. That sounds fascinating.
Oh, the Kilo shadow play is really something special. It's a designated intangible cultural heritage. It has over 100 years of history, passed down through 7 generations. It's considered a major style of Jiangyan shadow play.
7 generations, wow.
Yeah, and it was actually Shanghai's first ICH item. People call it the origin of hi-pi shadow play.
Yeah.
The style is really distinct, colorful puppets, often quite exaggerated and decorative.
And what's the experience like?
It's a whole performance, combines drama, art, the craft of making the puppets, music, and even local dialect. They tell classic Chinese stories. You can see it live at the Qibao Shadow Play Art Museum, usually on Saturday afternoons.
Using local dialect, too.
Yeah.
That really keeps it authentic, doesn't it? What makes this hi-pi style different from others?
It's partly that vibrant, sometimes over-the-top visual style, but also how it blended techniques from both northern and southern Chinese shadow puppetry. Again, reflecting that inclusive Shanghai hi-pi spirit. And then there's something maybe even more unusual, the Qibao cricket culture.
Cricket culture, as in the insects.
Exactly. Cricket fighting, specifically. There's a place called the Cricket Cottage. It's a century-old building from the Ming King era. It's dedicated to showcasing this tradition. You can see old cricket jars, fighting tools, historical info, even modern interactive exhibits.
Cricket fighting, that's unexpected. Is it still a thing?
It's a traditional pastime, especially in autumn. They call it kriksing, autumn interest. It's a niche hobby, but still around. It's interesting how it adapts too. Like now they use tiny electronic scales to weigh the crickets for fair matches.
Weighing crickets, okay.
Yeah.
How does a hobby like that fit into the town's identity?
It's part of that local leisure culture, often passed down. It creates a sense of community among the enthusiasts. It's one of those unique local flavors. And don't forget, we already mentioned the Qibao old wine brewing and the Fangao cake making. Those are also ICH.
Right, so even food prep is considered cultural heritage.
It really shows how Qibao turns everyday things like eating and hobbies into art and culture.
It's impressive how deep it runs. And speaking of art, Qibao has a connection to a very famous cartoon character, doesn't it?
It does, quite remarkably, through Zhang Chongren. He was born in Qibao, a real pioneer of modern Chinese sculpture. But internationally, he's maybe best known for collaborating with Hergé, the creator of Tintin.
Tintin. Which book?
The Blue Lotus. Zhang helped Hergé with the Chinese elements, making it much more authentic. It was a huge deal for introducing Chinese culture in Europe back then. There's a Zhang Chongren Memorial Hall right near the Putong River. It shows his sculptures, but also materials from that Tintin collaboration. It's a testament to Qibao's artistic side, and again, that high-pi openness.
That's incredible. A Qibao artist shaping how Tintin portrayed China to the world. What does that say about Qibao's connection to the wider world, even historically?
I think it highlights how Shanghai and places like Qibao within it have often been plugged into global currents, absorbing influences, but also sharing their own perspectives. And if sculpture isn't your thing, there's calligraphy too.
Ah, yes, the written art.
The Qibao Art Museum, opened in 2009, focuses on calligraphy. It displays high-pi calligraphy, works by big names since 1949, but also local Qibao artists. It really reinforces Qibao's reputation as a home of Chinese calligraphy.
Wow. Shadow puppets, crickets, sculpture linked to Tintin, calligraphy. The cultural range is huge. And you can still see simpler everyday crafts too.
Definitely. Just wandering the side alleys, you'll stumble upon what they call old trades, la hangdang, like little old school barbershops or tailors working away. They represent that slower pace of life, that preserved craftsmanship, still functioning today.
A quiet kind of living history.
Exactly. And if you want to get hands-on, there are often workshops where you can try traditional crafts yourself, like incense making, using agar wood, or maybe tie-dyeing. Lets you connect directly.
That really lets you step inside the tradition, not just observe it. You know, some places are best visited at a certain time of day, but Qibao sounds like it really changes its character depending on when you go, like 3 scenes, 3 times.
That's a great way to describe it. The experience is totally different throughout the day. In the morning, it's surprisingly peaceful, really gentle, the water's quiet. That's the time for the Puxi morning tea market. You can go to a traditional tea house, maybe catch some ping shu that's classic storytelling. It's a very calm, traditional start.
Sounds lovely. A real contrast to the usual Shanghai bustle. Then what happens as the day picks up?
Oh yeah, by daytime it gets lively, definitely bustling. Crowds are checking out the food stalls on South Street, the craft shops on North Street. It's busy, energetic. And that's when you see people doing the Zanawa thing, hairpin flowers.
Oh, what's that?
People, often young women, dress up in traditional Chinese outfits, get these elaborate flower hairpins put in, and then take photos around the scenic spots in town. It's become really popular.
Like getting into the historical vibe for photos, fun, and then nighttime. Does it just quiet down?
Not exactly quiet, but it transforms again. At night, it becomes quite enchanting. They light up the buildings and the waterways with colorful lights. It creates this really romantic, almost dreamlike atmosphere. They even have something called the Waterfront Night Feast, which I think involves light shows. It draws a whole different crowd looking for that magical evening vibe.
So it really offers 3 distinct moods. And we keep coming back to this living ancient town idea. How does Qibao actually do that? How does it avoid becoming just a tourist trap?
It seems core to their whole approach. They're really committed to keeping the residential side strong, even with all the tourism and commerce. They apparently make a point of listening to the residents, getting their feedback, trying to preserve the cultural feel, while also improving quality of life for the people who live there.
So resident input is key.
Seems like it. That focus distinguishes it from places that might prioritize tourist dollars above all else. It aims to be a community first, attraction second, or at least keep those in balance.
That really changes the definition of a living ancient town, doesn't it? It's not just about having residents, but about them being integral to its management. What are the key things they focus on to keep that balance?
I think it comes down to respecting the existing community fabric, making sure their needs are considered, and carefully integrating the commercial stuff so it complements rather than pushes out the traditional lifestyle. And what's maybe most unique is how it sits right next to super modern Shanghai. Literally.
You mean physically close?
Yeah, Qibao Banke Plaza, which is this huge, busy shopping mall, one of the biggest in Minhang district, is right beside the ancient town. It creates this almost jarring but fascinating, seamless connection. You walk out of thousand-year-old alleys and bam, you're in a modern shopping center.
That perfectly shows that Hi-Pi inclusivity in action. The old right next to the new. And this isn't just random chance, right? There's a plan. That one axis, three circles thing.
Right. It's a deliberate development strategy for the wider Qibao town area, not just the old street. The axis is the Puatang River, the central spine. The inner circle is the old street itself, the core heritage zone. Focus is preservation, traditional culture.
Okay, the historic heart.
Then the middle circle is the area immediately around it with those modern commercial hubs, Ling Plaza, Huibao, places like that. That's for trendy shopping, dining, modern life amenities. And the outer circle is bigger picture stuff, an ecological business district, the new 9-star city development. That's about integrating industry and the city more broadly.
That's a pretty sophisticated plan for managing an ancient site within a megacity. How do they stop the modern circles from just swallowing the old core?
It seems to be about careful zoning and managed growth, keeping the inner circle protected, making sure its character isn't overwhelmed, while letting the outer circles provide the economic engine and modern infrastructure. It prevents the historical part from being crushed by development pressure.
And this blend shows up in the souvenirs too, right? The Venchuang.
Right, the cultural creative product.
Exactly. It's how culture and commerce weave together. Like we said, tangrams based on the 7 treasures, postcards. Or they'll use traditional local fabrics, maybe patterns seen in the town, to make modern things like stylish Qibao dresses, bags, little toys. It lets visitors literally take a piece of Qibao's culture home, keeps the traditions relevant, and helps the local economy.
It's a really smart feedback loop. Keeps the heritage visible, valuable, and hopefully sustainable. And just like that, our deep dive into Shanghai's Qibao ancient town wraps up. What a fascinating place.
It really is. We've covered so much, from that classic Ming and Qing architecture, the white walls and black tiles, to those intriguing legends of the 7 treasures. The flying Buddha, the floating bell. Yeah, great stories. And that unique cross-shaped layout, shaped by both faith and trade over centuries.
Definitely. And we absolutely have to mention the food again. The Qibao Tang Yuan, that comforting lamb, the emperor's favorite fangao cake, all those amazing street snacks.
Made me hungry all over again.
Yeah.
A true feast.
And beyond the food, that living heritage, the incredible shadow play, the quirky cricket culture, the artistry in the wine and cakes being actual ICH.
Plus the global connections like Zhang Chongren and Tintin, and its status as a calligraphy center.
Right, and how it shifts through the day, the peaceful morning tea, the bustling daytime crowds, the magical lighted nights, all while staying a living ancient town connected to modern Shanghai.
So connecting it all back, Qibao really seems to capture that Hi-Pi Shanghai spirit, doesn't it?
I think it perfectly embodies it. That spirit of being inclusive, striving for excellence, enlightened, wise, generous. Qibao does that by blending ancient tradition with modern style, that sort of Jiangnan elegance with urban energy. It really is a unique Hi-Pi ancient town.
A little piece of Shanghai's soul, maybe. Which leaves us with a thought, doesn't it? What can other cities grappling with modernization learn from Qibao? How do you really strike that balance between preserving your authentic past and embracing the future? Keeping those cultural roots strong while still growing. It's definitely something to think about.
A challenge many places face. Qibao offers one interesting answer.
Indeed. Lots to ponder there. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.